innuendo from our next act this evening. He's a man who's had a full executive career, and he seems to have spent the latter part of it observing the effects of old age on us. So please put your hands together. Very warm welcome for Peter Ford.
Yes, old age has been creeping up on me for some time. And I haven't actually got to what I call the old age mode yet. That is, I don't actually want to wear a hat indoors. All day. But I have been studying what old people do. And I discovered that they like to follow little old ladies around the supermarket, holding the list. So I said to my wife, I said, would you like me to come down to the supermarket with you tomorrow and supervise the shopping? Use my management skills to advise you on what to buy? And she said, no, I'd rather lay in the bath, cuddling an electric fire. So I think that's a no. I also wonder, when little old ladies, when do they actually become little old ladies? Do they sort of wake up one morning and say, I don't think I'll put a dab of Chanel behind my ears this morning. I think I'll pop down to Boots and buy a large bottle of Lily of the Valley. Is that what happens? It is. Yes, it is. And I've watched them particularly in supermarkets and in post offices. And particularly in post offices, they queue very well. Very good queuers. And they get to the front of a massive queue, and they go to the grill, and they open their handbag, and the thing they want to post isn't in there, is it? But what they have got is a photograph of their grandchild. And they show this to the man behind the grill. And then you know what they do? They turn to the massive lonely queue and they give a very special little old lady smile. Because they assume that we are all participating in their moment of happiness. We're not, are we? We want to drag the fucking bitch outside. We do. And we want to hang her from the awning. And I think the law should be changed to allow us to do this. The other thing that fascinates me about little old ladies is their teeth. Where do they get these teeth from? Do they go to the dentist? Does he show them a catalogue? And does he say, Mrs. Perkins, these are the best teeth for you. Very natural looking, slightly yellow tinge, one or two uneven, perfectly natural teeth. And she says no, and she opens her handbag and she takes out a picture she's torn out of Hello magazine of Tom Cruise. And she says, I'd like a set of teeth exactly like his. But I'd like a slightly looser fit. Because I think it would be a course of certain fascination for people if when I'm talking to them, my teeth move about a bit. And when I say any words beginning with CH or TH, they can leap forward. Just like in the Alien. And I can go into Sainsbury's up to the delicatessen counter, give a little cough, and lose them completely in the potato salad. But little old men have problems too. Did you think you were going to get away with it, sir? Yes, little old men have problems too. Because they get to a certain age, usually about 70, 75, when they start to want something they haven't had for 30 years. Hair. There's a number of different ways they can get hair. They can either grow it very long on one side of their head and sweep it over the top. But before they do that, they dye it jet black, don't they? Very natural looking. Really, very, very natural. Well, some of the better off ones go to a hair studio. And what a wonderful place that is. They can order hair especially for them. They can have hair weaving, where they have somebody else's hair stitched into theirs. Or they can buy a wig, and because they had chestnut brown hair when they were 27, they choose ginger, don't they? They do. They choose ginger. And they have all the special things like the hairline that begins just above their eyebrows. And the fresh-coloured chin strap for extra security. Very attractive. But ladies and gentlemen, outside of this venue tonight, I saw something that warmed my heart. And I'd like to just share it with you. I saw a blind man standing in the road with his dog. And the dog lifted his leg and peed down the blind man's leg. And he reached in his pocket and he gave the dog a biscuit. And I thought this was such a wonderful thing. I rushed up to him and said, look, that's the greatest act of generosity I think I've ever seen. The dog peed down your leg and you gave him a biscuit. He said, yes, and now I know which end his mouth is, I'm going to kick him in the balls.
Thank you, Gaynor. Well, you already know that I don't get on very well with technology in shops, but I'm not that old. What about the old people? How do they cope? Well, it's time to hear from our resident old people expert. Please welcome back to tell us, Peter Ford.
Thank you. I'd just like to say before I start off that if I offended anybody in the first half, here we go again. Yes. In September last year, I got to my 43rd wedding anniversary. My wife said to me, she said, I want you to take me somewhere really expensive. So I dropped her down at Waitrose. I slipped a tenner in her bag, because that's the sort of guy I am. I thought if she wanted to squander it, it was fine. The thing about Waitrose, and I can see looking around the room that most of you don't go there, but the thing about Waitrose is it's rather special when you go there. If you go up to an assistant in Waitrose and say, for example, where are the frozen peas? They don't do it like they do in Tesco's, for example. They don't say, you know, third aisle on the left. They escort you. They take you to where the peas are. And if you don't want to go, They insist. And if there's two of them, they drag you there. The other thing about waitresses is they wax their oranges. And I said to one of the waitress assistants, why do you wax your oranges? And he said, because elderly people dribble. And he was looking at me at the time. And I said to him, I said, young man, I don't dribble. At least not from that end. The other thing I do with the waitress in particular, notice about them, is, again, little old ladies. They like to go to the checkout and they don't use credit cards, do they? They use cash. Small denomination coins, usually. And they have them in several purses because they're shopping for the neighbours. And the queue, again, is, 18 miles long. But we know where the awning is and we drag her there. Bless them. The other thing, that little old ladies can't actually sneak up behind you because they have that unique aroma, don't they, of lily of the valley and mackerel. Extremely attractive, I think. I like to go to waitress with my wife occasionally. I think it's a treat for her. And I like to buy some booze, and alcohol has never passed my wife's lips. So I have to have a little ploy to get to shop for the alcohol. And I want to share this with some of the guys in the room here that may have a similar problem. So you want to go to the chiller cabinet and take out a packet of sausages. Slit open the packet of sausages and take a sausage out. And then I like to find a little old lady that's nearest to the wife. And I nip up behind her and I whisper in her ear and say, hello, gorgeous. And at that point I slip the sausage into her hand. While she's screaming, I nip round to the drink section where I have a trolley waiting. I can usually get it out of the car before my wife has finished explaining to the lady, but he's not normally like that. Also, our waitress has a pharmacy. And I was in there the other day, there was a bloke standing there at the pharmacy counter, and he said, I want a condom that big. He said that would barely fit a mouse. He said, I know, we're overrun with them. Now, the reason I put that gag in, because I wasn't sure how well I'd be doing up to this point. No relevance to it at all. The other thing I want to talk to you about is doctor's surgeries. Doctor's surgeries are a real problem, don't you find? Especially when you get old. Because when you're young, you never go to the doctors. You young people around here, probably don't even know where the doctor's surgery is. When you get to my age and Gainer's husband, we're there all the time, aren't we? We're there all the time. And you go up to the receptionist and you want to